One of the most dangerous streets in Chicago, South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, is home to the 6400 blocks, also known as the infamous O Block. In 2020, O Block became a significant name among rappers and rap beef as prominent rappers from O Block began to share their stories about O Block. One rapper who cheered on for O Block after it became a household name was OTF leader Lil Durk. However, according to inside sources, Lil Durk's cheering days for O Block seem to be over as the OTF leader has been kicked out of the infamous O Block and he's been banned forever. Lil Durk O Block Gang. Barely 5 years ago, no one in the rap scene knew about O Block except people living in Chicago. O Block went mainstream in 2020 when rappers started talking about it with reference to their beef. The rappers who made O Block known include Lil Durk, the late King Von, Fredo Santana, Big Woney, Muwop, Boss Top, and Chief Keef. These rappers are the most popular rappers from O Block. Lil Durk belongs to a set of the Black Disciple Street known as OTF 300, usually just referred to as 300. This set compromises the territory around the areas of the South Side, known as O Block, named after Odie Perry, Front Street, 64th and Normal, Carl Lemron, and 64th and King Drive. You see, it's important to know these details as Lil Durk isn't originally from O Block, but instead, Durk is from the area around 64th and Normal. He, however, hung out around O Block, and most of the friends he had were O Block rappers, such as King Von, Muwop, Lil Reese, and Chief Keef. King Von, who released his debut album shortly before his tragic passing, Welcome to O Block, was a member of O Block and he had been active in the hood's business, stealing, since 2009. King Von was a close friend of Lil Durk, and many believe that Von was the one who made O Block feel like home to Lil Durk. Lil Durk shared a relationship with Chief Keef up until the summer of 2013. They both began the Chicago drill music together, and they rapped under the set OTF 300. However, Lil Durk moved on to form his own set called OTF 600 after they had a fight over Chief Keef refusing to lend Durk some money for his bond. In July 2013, Lil Durk was arrested on charges, and he approached Chief Keef hoping that he would lend some money to Durk for his bond, but Chief Keef turned him down. The situation caused a rift in their friendship. It may seem like such a long time ago, but the true history of the O Block banning Lil Durk began from his beef with Chief Keef. Lil Durk tried to patch things up after he rapped about an O Block fallen soldier, SROI Liggins, who got as a result of violence in O Block.
Popular rapper Lil Durk mentioned Liggins' in one of his songs.
In early 2012-2013, when Lil Durk and Chief Keef explored the drill music in Chicago, they rapped together under the set OTF 300. However, Durk soon broke off and formed his own movement, which he called OTF, Only the Family. Fans of Lil Durk and Chief Keef need to know the difference between OTF and the movement, which include artists from the 600 BD set such as Rondo from OTF 300, to which Keef has just as much of a claim as Durk. Lil Durk cutting off from OTF 300 made the O Block members in the set feel betrayed, and many of them didn't want to work with Lil Durk anymore. They all went on to have their individual careers and their sets, and O Block as a whole wasn't any trouble to the rap industry until O Block became popular in the rap scene. How O Block became popular. The infamous O Block made its stance in the rap scene today after it was highly praised by King Von, Lil Durk's late friend. Not until Von started talking about O Block in his music, it was just another part of Chicago with crazy violence, rising to prominence through his Crazy Story series and viral singles such as Took Her to the O. King Von's natural storytelling ability produced vivid narratives about what goes on in the 6400 block of South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive on Chicago's South Side, O Block.
Now the significance in O Block, the name came from my homie OD Perry, he passed away and shit. Was passed away like August 2000, I want to say, yeah. So that's where we got the name. Growing up over here, like a regular hood, I was with my homies and shit, all my friends, so we grew up playing, you know, kicking it. Then we got older, still kicking it. Other shit got to happen, so you know how that shit go.
With the help of Lil Durk, King Von was able to take a stance in the music industry, and he encouraged Von to rap to keep him out of trouble. 3 years later, after serving a 3.5-year prison sentence for an untimely acquitted attempted charge, Von's consistent and rapid improvement put him in position to become one of the top upcoming rappers from Chicago.
When I got locked up for the drama, like Durk was the main one supporting me, helping me. So we got even closer when I was just in jail. Then I got out. He flew me out there with him and shit. got the rapper. So me and Dirk, we like.
2 weeks before his tragic passing in October 2020, King Von released his debut album, Welcome to O-Block. The album featured Von narrating tales from the Southside streets. With the Welcome to O-Block album, a lot of people got to know about the block and the activities that go on there. Lil Durk advised rappers not to visit O-Block. In May 2019, an official report from Chicago Sun-Times labeled O-Block as the most dangerous street in Chicago. The rate of violence in O-Block scares people who live in O-Block to the extent that its indigenes encourage people not to visit O-Block.
We discovered it wasn't in Inglewood or the West Side. It is actually the 6400 block of South Martin Luther King Drive on the edge of the Woodlawn community.
It's dangerous out here, man. If you ain't from here, don't come here. Please don't. It's real. It's hectic.
In recent times, rappers from O-Block have tried to paint the street as a safe space for themselves. However, in reality, O-Block is far from being a safe place, and rapper Lil Durk has even advised some rappers to stay away from O-Block. While many fans believe that Lil Durk asked rappers to stay away because of his beef with them, that in fact isn't the case. The Chicago-born and bred rapper advises his fellow rappers out of care and concern for their lives. During an interview, Lil Durk spoke about O-Block, revealing that Meek Mill asked him a while ago if he could accompany him to the Chicago area. Durk's answer was wise, advising him to go at his own risk. According to Lil Durk, he wasn't going to tell Meek not to come, but the best advice he could give Meek was that it would be at his own risk to go to O-Block. Lil Durk fails to buy O-Block. In 2020, shortly before his passing, King Von put O-Block on the map. It didn't take a while before the area got huge attention and media coverage. However, what everyone knew about O-Block wasn't a good representation of the community. The violence, the crime against people's lives, and every illicit act. Lil Durk didn't very much like the idea people had about O-Block, and he had hopes that he could change it to become a healthier and much better community to live and grow up in. As a means to change the narrative the world had about O-Block, Lil Durk decided that he would buy the entire 6,400 blocks, aka O-Block apartments. In April 2021, O-Block was put up for sale, and as a means to protect his hood and his Lil Durk offered to buy the apartments. He made a tweet about it where he wrote, "I'll buy it, no matter how much it is." At the time, no one was sure how much O-Block was worth when it was listed. However, many people suggested that the housing complex was worth around $80 million. Unfortunately for Lil Durk, he was never able to purchase O-Block, and that was where his real troubles with the O-Block members began. The fall of O-Block and Lil Durk's betrayal. The fall of O-Block and Lil Durk's betrayal began after Lil Durk failed to buy O-Block after it was put up on sale. Lil Durk didn't even get to place a bid on the Parkway Gardens, aka O-Block, before it was bought off the list by an unknown buyer. In May 2021, barely a month after Lil Durk showed his intention to buy O-Block, a blog broke the news of the purchase, and the headline read, "O-Block, a 13-acre campus spread across nearly 3 dozen buildings, was purchased shortly after it went up for sale." The blog post read, "O-Block, Parkway Gardens, will be disbanded and relocated. O-Block has been sold, and best believe it's going to be developed beautifully and completely out of the price range of most current Woodlawn residents. That Jewel and Metro Squash facility should have been the writing on the wall. This is about to get interesting and eerily familiar. Can somebody say Cabrini or Stateway?" Most of the O-Block members weren't happy that Lil Durk couldn't buy the apartments, as they believe if he owned the apartments, not a lot of activities would reduce in the block. However, many other people, especially in Chicago, feel a sense of relief that Lil Durk didn't get to buy it because they believe that he may not renovate the apartments properly, and it would most likely continue to be the home for the and their violence. Members of O-Block felt betrayed after Lil Durk was unable to buy the entire O-Block. According to insider sources, many of the top dogs at O-Block were quite disappointed as they believed that things were going to change after a different person bought O-Block. So, the members of the O decided to ban Lil Durk from coming to O-Block or interfering in matters that concerned O-Block. Lil Durk defends O-Block. Lil Durk's failure to secure O-Block for the may have got him kicked out of the block. However, Durk still remains loyal to them as he defends the O-Block in every rap beef, especially when it involves his friend King Von. In January 2022, Lil Durk proceeded with his loyalty to O-Block yet again after rapper NBA Youngboy dissed the O-Block set and name-dropped King Von in his track. Lil Durk responded to NBA Youngboy.
You know, we've been like locked in, like since we was younger. My brother Vernie put us into him, and we just started like, locking in real heavy. And then, well, I think we was going on prom. I had gave him my watch to go on prom. He go on prom, he locked up the next day with it. So when he came out, it was like, oh yeah, we locked in.
While YoungBoy's track Bring the Hook was released on January 11th, 2022, Lil Durk responded the following day by uploading a picture to Instagram of himself holding stacks of money while sitting beside a blown-up photo of the late King Von, who was also shown carrying wads of cash. Von's V-Roy chain and the Newski chain, which belonged to Lil Durk's late cousin OTF Nunu, were also in the picture. Durkio captioned the image, "Don't claim it if you ain't do it, or you still a..." Smirk emoji, pound the voice. Although Lil Durk didn't mention anyone in the post, it was quite clear that it was a reference to NBA YoungBoy and his new song, Bring the Hook. On the second verse of YoungBoy's Bring the Hook, he raps, "This is Squid Game. O Block round gets rolled up. What they told us. Atlanta boy get fold up. Get your up. These throwing up green flags. Throwing that NBA up for me. Set you up to bust your and no, I keep that bag." One person on Twitter spoke on the joint and said that the fans needed to stay away from Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy's beef, as the diss tracks was a reminder that their beef never involved their fans. Another user typed, "NBA YoungBoy and Lil Durk 2022 about to be a movie. How O Block is holding up without Lil Durk." With the absence of King Von and O Block, Lil Durk has had little to no reason to support O Block at the moment. He, however, makes exceptions for some upcoming rappers in the set that need his help to become something in the industry. In all, King Von's tragic passing and the end of his relationship with Lil Durk have had a huge impact on O Block. The gang rates in O Block have reduced drastically since King Von's death. In fact, it has become a tourist center in some way, as fans of the rap industry are beyond intrigued to see what life in the O looks like. The Black Disciple set is likely over as well, as most of them are locked up behind the big walls, and those who aren't there are either 6 feet deep or hiding somewhere till they can move again. Many of the rappers still claim O Block as their hood, including Lil Durk. In fact, he had never denied being affiliated with O Block except when he was arrested alongside King Von for that they were involved in Atlanta. Lil Durk told the authorities that he had long abandoned the life and he was no longer part of the O Block. With the spotlight O Block has received in the upcoming renovations, it's safe to say that O Block will experience some changes.